Hello, money cousins. This is Asa Leveaux, and yes, I called you my money cousin because I believe you get money with people you like, people you love, and sometimes the family that you were born into doesn't necessarily want to get money. So we can always reframe family. We can always create a new family. So you are my money cousin. So Oh, and then shout out to Icon Nation as well. Again, I am Asa Leveaux. If you have no idea what I do, I catapult audacious entrepreneurs toward their next million by providing brand clarity, business automation, and bankable deliverables with the Icon method. So today, we are going to talk a little bit about what I call entrepreneur purgatory. Okay, check it. Entrepreneur purgatory. How did this come up? Well, I went to the gym this morning. And I go to the gym around 9 because I'll tell you about that part too. So I go to the gym around 9. The reason why I go to the gym around 9 because my work day starts at noon. Hey, so why does your work day start at noon? Because I own my own business. That's why. And I don't work for anybody. Like, I don't have a 9 to 5. I haven't had a 9 to 5 in quite some time. And I realized just recently, I was like, what would make me have the business of my dreams? Well, operating within what works for me. And I'm not a morning person. And I don't have to affirm that I am to make somebody else comfortable or make somebody else feel wonderful or good about me. Like, I'm not. What I am is I am a night beast. I am beastly at night. Take that how you want it. But I am beastly at night. So I come up with my best ideas. I am more conversational in the evenings. So why am I allowing a business or building a business that is for somebody else? If they want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, let their ass wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I know noon till 8. So that's why I'm at the gym at 9. So I come back and I see a Voxer message from a client of mine. He knows who he is. I'm not going to call you out because we have an NDA. So I'm not going to call you out. But I have a client. He sends me a message because that's the level of support that I give my clients. And he's like, Asa, I've been pitching the way you've taught me. Things are going well. However, I think that this is a really good opportunity that they have come back with after I pitched them. Okay, so let me be very clear. My client is pitching $750 an hour prices for the services that he provides. Okay, I'll say it like that to make sure that he remains anonymous because he did not give me permission to do this. So that's why I have to do it in this way to keep in alignment with the NDA. So I'm like, sir, I did not coach you, strategize with you to get you $750. It's $750 because you have an entire business. You are not you are not an employee anymore. You are a business owner. I say again, you are not an employee. You are an entrepreneur. You are a business owner. So there's a reason. There are numbers attached to you. There are numbers attached to you charging them $750 an hour because you are not charging you are not saying I as a person am needing this amount. No, you're saying you as a business owner, my business desires to do business with your business. And so we need this to operate. So there's a reason why you're doing $750 an hour because guess what? The business is then going to pay you your salary, which can be $150 an hour. But guess what? If they're proposing to pay you $150 an hour, that does not support you in the least little bit. It does not. It does not. Why? Because you have overhead, you have expenses, you have taxes. Those things are very, 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 very real in the life of a business owner, in the life of an entrepreneur. That does not support you in the least little bit. So that's what I call when you are doing your best to go from an employee to an entrepreneur. Like an employee earns everything. An employee earns everything. An employee earns money. An employee earns time off. An employee earns vacation time. An employee earns retirement or retirement points. Whatever you want to say, that's what an employee does. And I am not bashing employees. I say again, I am not bashing employees. Why? Because that should be very clear. I'm going to need some. And if you're building a business, you're going to need some too. So why are you out here bashing people that you want to one day have for yourself? And I've had employees when I owned a daycare center. I had employees when I owned a retail store. I had employees when I had a janitorial company. I'm just choosing to do things a lot leaner these days. But I know that life. I just don't desire to have that life in the moment. So I understand what an employee does. An employee earns everything. An entrepreneur creates. An entrepreneur creates revenue. An entrepreneur creates vacation time. An entrepreneur creates retirement. An entrepreneur creates all the things. And in order for that creation to take place, you have to have a system in place for the creation to support you. A way that the creation can support you is understanding how to properly charge what you do so that you as an individual can now be supported. So let's go with, let me try to pick a real good one. A trainer. We'll go with that. Let's say you are a corporate trainer. You are a trainer in your industry or a trainer in your business, okay? And let's say you get $150 an hour. Like you a dope ass trainer, right? And people love you what you do. You have actual analytical data that says you're worth $150 an hour, right? Okay, great. So now let's say you want to start a training agency, a training business, all right? So you are out here and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go into business for myself. And you start charging people $150 an hour. If I was getting $150 over here, I should be able to get $150 over here. That's accurate. You should, but you shouldn't. You should not be charging $150 an hour if you are now having a training agency. Why? Because you have overhead, because you have expenses, because that shit don't work. It does not work that way. Yes, I get it. You have $150, and I'm bringing a point home, so I'm going to say it again. You have $150 that you are getting as an employee over here. As a business owner, guess what? The business is paying you. So if you desire to keep within the lifestyle that you have become accustomed to, you can no longer allow your business to get paid what you were getting paid as an employee. And that middle ground of that transition is what I call entrepreneur purgatory. Because you start looking around. You're like, okay, the light bill came. Okay, the rent people said it's the 5th and they need all their money. Okay, the water people sent me an email. Ugh. All right, baby, gonna need field trip money. How am I do all this? How am I gonna do all of this? Well, you do that by assessing what it takes for your business to run successfully while paying you what you have already become accustomed to. I never said pay you what you're worth or pay you your worth. Paying your worth can never be done. So I am not a proponent of pay your worth. If you stay around, you'll understand why. Because worthiness is a conversation for your therapist. Worthiness is not a conversation for your client or your customer. Not at all. Your pricing, what you charge, is based on market, your positioning in the market, what other people are paying, based on the deliverables that you offer. So, let's say you are a cosmetologist. You provide hair services. You could never be paid your worth. Your worth is not a number. Your worth is not set on numbers. So that's why I will never say you need to charge your worth. No, if you are in, let me be very clear. If you're in bumfuck Iowa, and in bumfuck Iowa, the usual, I'm not, the words aren't coming at the moment. The usual yearly the salary for people in bumfuck Iowa, and believe me, there's a bumfuck everywhere. Bumfuck Iowa is, $45,000 to $50,000 a year, and here you are talking about you're gonna do a whole $200 washing style. Guess what? You are outpricing where you are. You need to get out of bumfuck Iowa and at least get to Salt Lake City, Utah, or at least get to Des Moines. But if you in bumfuck, then you can't support yourself. That's why it's not about worthiness. It's about, what am I seeing? What am I surrounding myself? Is there a market? That's what market research is about. So you're not just out here making up arbitrary numbers that don't support anything or anyone, including yourself. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's called, so that moment where you have to, like, okay, there's an employee over here, and that's where I was. And there is business over here, and that's where I desire to be. This middle part is gross. This middle part has me feeling some type of way about myself. This has me doubting myself. And guess what? I understand. Not just understand, but I overstand. I absolutely get it. However, you gonna have to pick one. Fucking pick one. I say again, fucking pick one. Either you're gonna be an employee or you're gonna be an entrepreneur. This whole middle shit does not support you. You sitting in entrepreneur purgatory is not iconic, baby. It is not. It is so not. Pick one. Either you gonna charge them or you not. But you doing this whole back and forth shit don't support you. You are treating and I took there's a coach friend of mine who first said this. Shout out to her. You are treating your business like a side bitch. I say again, you're treating your business like a side bitch. Like, you want to pimp them for everything you want them to do, but you won't do what it takes to keep them. You are treating your business like a side bitch. So I'm asking you, instead of going back to employee to entrepreneur, like you two-timing your business, don't do that. Be clear, get numbers, understand why you're making decisions based on that numbers, and then go for it. Now, I'm not saying quit your business. I am not a proponent of let me say this differently. I am not someone that sees you or someone you know post on social media about, I just quit my business, and everybody like, or I just fired my job, I just fired my boss, I'm not liking shit, I'm not loving shit, I'm not commenting on shit. You know why? Because everybody don't need to fire their boss. Because everybody don't have a plan to properly exit the investor that you've already set up. Sometimes that six-figure job you have is not a prison. It's a platform. It's not a prison. It's a platform. And you can do amazing things if you just, did some things differently. Like, maybe you need a schedule. Maybe a whole schedule that can support you. So maybe you work 8 hours a day. You block off time to do 4 hours of work instead of watching TV, or instead of going out with the girls, instead of kikiing, instead of being on Tinder, instead of being on Grindr. Like, you could actually, do some work. Maybe that could be a thing. That's all you need. You need structure. You don't necessarily need to fire anyone right now because it doesn't make sense. Now, when you have so many orders, you have so many things to fulfill based on your business actions, that being in your job just does not make sense because, you feel like you're killing yourself trying to do both, then you can get out. Then you can get out. But just firing your boss because you want to make a fucking social media post is not going to support you, baby. I promise you, it's not going to support you the way you think it will. Because once all those likes dissipate and once people forget that you fired your boss, what comes next? Bills. Lots of motherfucking bills. And those likes are not going to support you in that because you didn't have a clear and concise exit strategy from your job. Exit strategies aren't just for business. You can strategically exit out of anything. Shout out to my ex-fiance. Some of y'all know them. Shaz, shout out to Shaz. The way we ended our relationship, I feel like that was a strategic exit. They knew that the love that I had for them was significant, and to just cut me off would not support me. So I needed to be weaned off of their energy. And because I chose well, they allowed me to wean instead of being ghosted or cut off. But I gotta admit, I chose well. I chose someone that was dope enough to still be dope when they changed their mind. They were still dope even after they changed their mind about me. So yeah, so I don't feel bad and I don't have any tears for you because they were a dope lover and they were a dope ex. They were just dope. I chose well. I chose well. So you can strategically exit out of anything. And so you can strategically exit out of entrepreneur purgatory by doing the things I just instructed you to do. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, baby. Okay? So I hope that supported you. If it did, let me know. If it didn't, let me know. Because I definitely want, desire, intend for you to be clear, to have actionable steps. I am not here for motivation. I'm not here for inspiration. If you feel motivated, awesome. If you feel inspired, awesome. But I would desire to give you actionable steps so that your icon era can be a real thing. Seriously, I'm here for your icon era. I am initiating icon eras. That's it, okay? Again, if you need support from me, let me know. Please register for the Icon Bootcamp. It's coming up, iconbootcamp.co. I say again, iconbootcamp.co. We have spots still. And that's it. That's it. I'm glad you came, though. I'm glad you watched all this to this point. And as always, I am Asa Leveaux. Dreams and radical blessings.